Today we are going to eliminate a problem that's comes up occasionally on a Cuspidor, and that is whenever we do a bowl rinse, the bowl gurgles. And this is not desirable. It's slow draining, noisy, and it's caused by the fact that we don't have a nice straight shot from the bowl to the gravity drain connection in the floor box. So what we're going to do today is install a little Y connector in the drain of the Cuspidor with a length of 3/8 inch tubing to provide us with air behind the water that's flowing down the gravity drain. Now, to do this on this basic Cuspidor requires quite a bit of small steps. We're going to have to take it pretty much completely apart, so let's get started with that. We need to take the basket out of the bowl, and we'll set that aside. Our bowl rinse spout out of the top of the Cuspidor, set it aside as well. And then our cup fill spout, and we'll set it aside. Lastly, we have this little perforated screen where the cup sits that will lift out of here so that we don't drop it on the floor. Last thing we need to do is remove this cover itself. The cover is held in place by two Velcro strips, one down this side and one down the opposite side. So to remove the cover, we'll just carefully separate the Velcro strips on each side simultaneously, lift the cover away, and like everything else, set it aside. Now that exposes all of our workings for our Cuspidor in here. Our water relays, all of our tubing, our adjustment valves for runtime, and in particular all the tubing, of course. Now what we need to do is get into this so that we can actually get some of these tubes out of the holes that they're in and move them all into one side. So in this case, I've got a water tube over here on the left that's back in here that I'm going to want to move from where it's at to this position over here on the right. There's plenty of room in this other hole for it. And the reason I need to do that is in order to make room for my 3/8 gravity drain tube to go down through that plate and make my connection to my Y connector down in my floor box, or down in the side box, down below. All right, to get this access to this, I'm going to take this top plate off. And to do that, I need a hex key that fits these 4 screws. That's the one right there. All right, I've removed the 4 fasteners. Now I can lift the plate up. Gives me access to my tube that I want to move, which is the water tube right here, this one. And I'm going to move it over to, as I said earlier, over here to this right side. So we need to separate the tube from the cross fitting that I've got here. And to do that, I first need to slide the tubing sleeve here down so that I can get the tube off the barb. So we can slide the sleeve back, then pull the tube off of the barb. Then remove the sleeve temporarily from the barb, set it aside. Now what we have to do is get this water tube down this hole and over into this one. It looks as though I need to remove this lower plate as well in order to fish that water line over to this other hole. So there's 4 screws for that, same size as the top plate. Get in here and get this off. Let's remove the side panel off of the side box. Here's my water tube that I'm wanting to relocate to the other side. And we got it. I had to go back up underneath of here, pull the water tube down, and then push it up so that it was coming up over on this side with these other tubes, the other water tube and an air line. And now we've got it over on the opposite side of that plate where we want it. So let's go ahead and put that lower plate back in place. All right, we've got our water tube up in the right position here. Turns out on this plate, it's open all across the back of it here, so I have plenty of room to route the tubing. I got it out of the hole that I need, so we're good as far as that bottom plate goes. Let me go ahead and snip the end of this tube off so I get some fresh tubing. Put my sleeve back on the tube, reconnect it to my cross fitting, and slide my sleeve up. And then using a sleeve pusher, slide it up and lock that tube into place. All right, now let's push our tubing back down in the side box. Get our lower plate repositioned where it needs to go, because I need to run that black 3/8 tube down through there. And there we go. All right, so we'll reinstall those 4 screws, re-secure the bottom plate to the Cuspidor arm. I'm finger starting these, each one of them. Do not tighten any of them until all of them are started. Exercise a little care when tightening these small fasteners. You don't want to strip the head of the fastener out, nor do you want to strip the threads of the fastener. You don't have to tighten them to the point where they squeak. Just nice and snug will do. All right, next step, we need to put our tubing down through the hole that we've made available here in the arm for the Cuspidor. Now, this tubing note has a 45-degree cut on one end of it. It's 2 feet long. It's probably 6-8 inches longer than it needs to be, but you know, it's easier to shorten it than it is to lengthen it. So let's go ahead and run this down through the Cuspidor swivel and into the side box of the chair. And there it goes. It's come out down here, so I just pull it down, and I just need to leave it stick up a couple of inches inside of the Cuspidor above the arm, about like that, and that's good. Now we can go ahead and put this all back together again. This is nice, is in here nice and tight. It's not going to fall out, so you don't need to worry about that. So let's go ahead and put our water relays back in the clips. Check our tubing, make sure we don't have any kinks in here anywhere. There, everything's looking good. I see I need to push my water tubes back down in there a little further. There we go. Get that 1/8 inch tube going, 1/4 inch tube going down in there, so I don't kink any of it whenever I press this plate back down on top of its mount. All right. Carefully check for any kinked tubes. You don't want to have to take this apart again once you put it together. All right, so let's take our 4 fasteners, put them back in. Again, I'm installing them finger tight, all of them, all 4, before I tighten any of them. Again, nice and tight, but they don't need to squeak as you tighten them. Just need to be good and snug. All right. One more check for my tubing, make sure everything's okay. Nothing kinked. I can slip my cover back over it. Center the holes in the cover over the holes for the spouts. Press it in along the sides to re-secure it. Grab the cup fill spout. Now, cup fill spout, when you go to put it in, note that it's got the slot across the bottom of it right here. And down inside of here, there's a pin, and that pin needs to line up with that slot so that this spout is over the top of where the cup's going to sit. There we go. And we've got our bowl rinse spout, put it in place. Return our screen and the basket into the Cuspidor. Now we can move down to here on our side box. Here's our drain line coming down right here from the Cuspidor. So anywhere in here, we can cut it and install our Y connector. So we're going to need a sharp blade to do that. All right, we've cut our drain tube. Now we can take our Y connector, install it in our bottom drain. If you have a heat gun or something that you can warm this tubing with, it can make it easier to install it. Then go ahead and put the top in it, slide it down as far as you can. Then cut our 3/8 air. Install it on the barb. Again, pushing it down as far as you can. All right, in closing, I would like to just caution you on working on these Cuspidors. Your safety is utmost importance, of course. Wear gloves when you're working on a Cuspidor. Do not put any fasteners, tools, or whatever in your mouth. Use common sense when you're working on one of these. They can transmit some dangerous pathogens. So do be careful when you're working on a Cuspidor. Thank you very much for your patience and viewing this. Again, if you have any questions, give us a call here at Customer Service, Forest Dental Products. Ask for technical support, and we'll be delighted to answer any questions you might have about installing a air vent on a gravity drain Cuspidor.